Welcome everybody to the first ever podcast vlog. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this and also workshopping a few names of it. But I'm Charles. I don't know if you could classify me as a sneakerhead, but I've got a baby collection growing, and from that, being really active on X, which I still call Twitter every day. Um, I've run into some folks, some really great folks who make apparel, and I think now most of my t-shirts, my sweatshirts, are all these small independent brands. You've probably seen some of my videos where I've been doing some unboxings and highlighting some of these brands over the last month or so. And fortunate enough to be joined today by Brian and George, who are the brains and the face of Life Method, who you've seen out there as well. So welcome, Brian. Welcome, George. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for being
There he is. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you for having us, Charles.
here. Hey,
Appreciate it.
no problem. For the first, get it out of the way for people who don't know, who is Life Method? What is Life Method?
You-
go ahead, Brian. It's your baby to
Uh,
begin with.
well, obviously we are a shirt company, which we take a lot of pride in that, making shirts for people that we feel that they would like our ideas. But most important, uh, we're here for people. We want to in our about us page, we talk about that on our website, at life method shop. We talk about our interaction with people and um, how we can have people a part of this journey, a part of our company, even without maybe buying a shirt, or just being supportive of people. Because when you see corporations or businesses, they just, I guess the easiest way to sum it up is we don't want to just have people buy a shirt and say thank you and then just move on. We want to be a part of their lives. And you can see that from what we're trying to do on social media is, if you're a sneakerhead or you're a food person, we want to be a part of your life. We want to, and that also is a win for us because it helps us get interest for other people, interest from what other people are doing. So, as much as we want to sell shirts, as much as we're starting to get into some other apparel, which we'll get into, but as much as we want to do all that, the human being, the person is the most important thing, because the reality of it is we need people. We need to support them just as much as they support us. It's not a one-way street. And we can see that from a lot of my posts that I'm trying to explain that, you might not buy a shirt, or you haven't given us a chance, but I'm going to repost your content. I'm going to engage with you. And I think that's important for us to do that. And that's kind of what we're about. And that's kind of the message that we're trying to push, that we want people to care just as much as we care for them about us. And it's important for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. A lot of the posts are very, very positive in nature, very supportive. That's who Life Method is, but where did this idea come from, right? Like what was the catalyst that said, you know what, we need to do this?
Um, Go ahead, George. Yeah, I'll let you tell the story because
Sure.
go ahead.
I'll take the starting, and then Brian
Yeah,
can
yeah,
run with it,
yeah,
because he was definitely the real inspiration behind it. But so we actually have a small sneaker group. Anybody's welcome to join. It's free. We always think that the sneaker group should be free. We're an offshoot from Soul Savvy. God bless those guys, love them. But we built our own kind of just free community where we help each other assist and cop sneakers. It doesn't matter whether they're Travis Scott's or whatever. We're always helping each other. And so we've got a really good community there. There's probably 30 or so of us in there. And over time, this winners win slogan kind of just came to be for whatever reason. I don't really know who actually was the first one to throw it out there, but it became our common saying, and the common slogan that we threw out with our small, like I said, sneaker group. And whether it was, oh yeah, we helped, 3 people cop this big hype sneaker this time, or whether it was, somebody got a raise, or, I was out of work for 4 or 5 months last year. Actually, I work in the tech industry, but whenever, somebody had a big win, it was always, hey, winners win. And it didn't matter if it was, because somebody win the lottery basically and had something crazy good, or they just had a good day. We were constantly kind of throwing this slogan back to each other of winners win. And over time we said, hey, we really need a shirt with that on it. Like, man, this is a cool saying. Like, it's got some ring to it, right?
Yeah.
And I guess after literally probably like a year and a half of this group being in place, Brian was like, oh yeah, man, we've got to make shirts for this. And we had another member that said he was going to, which just never happened. So, I think a lot of people could really get behind this winners win mantra, so to speak. And so one day we were just talking in the main group chat, and I said, we should do this, and Brian said, hey, I'm definitely, I want to do this. But I need somebody to help me, with building the business. I said, well, I'm a serial entrepreneur with a bad habit of starting companies. So, hey, let's do it. And so we just kind of dove in head first, November of last year, with the idea of, hey, this winners win mantra has been great for our group. We've loved it. And we really feel like that is something that we can kind of take to the world. And of course, Life Method became our company and is what our broader goal and method of reaching out to people is. But winners win really was where it all started.
Nice. Yeah, no, it is. It's that I love that, because a lot of people will say they're going to do something, but it's always that person that just finally does it, right? That gets it rolling. So,
right.
You've been in about a year now. What has been kind of your favorite design so far that you've put out, right?
Oh man,
I'll let Brian do that.
I don't know. You're always sentimental to the first one, right? So this first shirt really means a lot. It's the number one seller, the most we sold a lot, which is surprising because it was our first one. But not that the other ones were bad. They were really good. A lot of it has to do with I like the one that you bought, Charles. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
I think the message, that's kind of what we're going with. And what I'm trying to push is motivational, inspiring, the winners win mentality of winning. And so I really like that one a lot. The other one I think I like is the Whitney Houston one. My wife and I are big Whitney Houston fans.
Right.
She actually helped design that one.
And you gave her royalties too, right?
Yeah. And so those two off the top of my head are my favorites, I think.
All right. Yeah, no, are you going through it or growing through it? Is really a good saying. And I specifically picked I think it's a sand color.
That's my favorite color of that shirt too.
Something I didn't have in my closet yet. And I was like, oh yeah, let's go with that. Right.
The colors matched really well, I thought, with the sand. And that's the other part. When we do this, it's like, oh, which colors look good? We try to limit it, but that color really, really looked good with that design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I don't want to get us, if you have a forward question about this, we can talk about it a little more then. But Brian does a great job of working with the artists on these different areas, right? So
Mhm.
while he's creative in that he comes up with all of these shirt ideas on his own, we're not actually artists, right? Neither one of us can draw, anything more than a
No,
stick figure.
no,
So
no.
he's done a great job. We've done a great job of building out a, bullpen of artists that we can work with, the ideas. But most 90% of these are all ones that Brian's come up with that he's just flushed out with these artists. So I've loved it's been empowering for me just to sit back and watch and see these ideas just like the one that you described. Growing through it. Sort of messages that he's been able to work with independent artists to really just bring out and allow us to provide that to our customer base. So yeah, and then of course the winners win. Yeah, definitely my favorite of maybe the Michael Jordan win. But I'm looking forward to we have another drop coming soon with some other winners win colors. So
Yes,
All right.
yes,
I'm looking forward to it because I have to wait
yeah.
until Brian makes shirts for me to get them actually.
Wait,
For
you don't
sure.
get seated early?
No.
No, not really. I could force it in there, but no,
Yeah.
I try to make
Soon.
things
Let's
fair.
hopefully we're working on that. Hopefully we'll get to that
Sure.
point.
There you go. There you go. No,
Not a
George,
bad thing though.
Yeah.
no. But George, you bring up a good point there. Something I hadn't thought about was, the design of the shirts or designing and creating the artwork for the shirts, and you're creating an ecosystem where you're giving into somebody else's business, right? But where do for somebody who maybe is watching this and is like, yeah, I can barely draw a stick figure. Where are you guys finding your artists? Is there a certain forum or site or what have you that you're sourcing these folks from?
Yeah, well, I'll let Brian take that one overall because he's definitely been the lead for us in terms of both idea generation as well as execution when it comes to developing, a product from start to finish. I have a background in product management in the tech industry, so able to help from that perspective. But this is really his area. All I would say is, yeah, we didn't really mean for it to be, or it wasn't intentional from the beginning for us to include the art community as a part of our mission, specifically in what we're trying to build here. But I will say, like, that's just been a great byproduct of what we've done, and that by going about bringing in individual independent artists into our process for how we develop and put these shirts out, we've been able to bring this whole additional community slowly but surely into what we're doing here. But yeah, go ahead, Brian, and take the reins on how you've done that and where you found artists and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So honestly, I tried to reach out locally within my area to try to find artists, and there's some really good ones. We just weren't there financially for those to use them, which I hope to in the future because I want to give people our business too. So it's kind of funny. I had to reach out to other people and try to find out. So I went to Fever and there's a lot of talented people on there, and was really picky through the process of trying to find somebody
All right.
who was really good. And now for simple stuff, I have two people that do it, and then for our major stuff that we need hand drawing, I just recently last month found somebody else. So right now the guy who did the Be Kind shirt, we always have him. We found him in December. He's really, I mean, he can
That's
draw.
and he was from is it Fever or is it Fiverr? It's
Oh, Fiverr, sorry,
Fiverr.
Fiverr. Yeah,
I
yeah,
could be wrong, but
yeah. I don't.
I've never.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's Fiverr.
yeah. Uh, and so and so we reached out and we found them, and that's who we've been using since. Is usually it's four individuals, and I kind of message them. The gentleman that's doing the Be Kind stuff is no longer on there, and so I contact him personally, and and work out that. So now we have a relationship, and now it's not even through the app or the company or anything. Now it's just us two working together. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Now, a lot of the stuff that I've purchased, even from other companies, it's a little thicker, the shirts, right?
Yes,
The one
yes.
thing about your shirts is it's not as thick, but that's not
Right.
necessarily a bad thing because it's still I think a quality
Yes.
material, quality shirt. What was the thought process behind something maybe a little bit thinner? Especially, being up in the Windy City area during the summer, it can be
Yes.
very helpful.
Yes. Yeah. So uh it's I don't everybody's different on the quality or how they like their clothing. I'm not necessarily very picky about, because I do have some other independent brand shirts and I love those quality of those shirts.
Yeah.
To me, being here where it's humid, um I just like to be comfortable. And so when I go to grab one of those shirts when it's 95 out and humid, I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
And just because I'm going to be outside. And so we searched, I felt a lot of t-shirts going through this process to make sure, was it going to hold up? Is it too thin? Is it, you know, when we print on it, or the image, is it going to be good? But the overall thought process behind picking it, we all buy the shirt because what's on it. Oh, that's a cool shirt. That's a cool logo. But at the end of the day, you're wearing it, and so you have to
Yep.
feel good. And so going with something that's light, really, I'm really excited about the softness of the shirts, as opposed to how thick or thin they are. They're just really soft, and I want people to feel comfortable with it when it's on. Because it's just like driving a car. When you're driving it, you're not seeing the outside of your car. You're wearing it. You can look down at it, but it's more about the comfort of
Yep.
the shirt. And it was important for us to pick the right quality of shirt for people to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. I mean, him and I, amazingly, having never talked about our preferences in shirt type, we're 100% on the same page from day one, and I think that's a coincidence more than anything. But um, both of us believe in the same thing that he said, but also I think there's just kind of this trend right now where everybody's got to make these heavy, overweight shirts because some of the big name companies, that's how they do it. And we said, no, we want a comfortable shirt. And not saying that some people might find those heavy overweight shirts comfortable. And if they do, hey, absolutely for them. And if we get requests for some of those, we're happy to appease the audience and do some of that. But I will say that, most people that have purchased our shirts have come back and said, wow, you guys actually have, I was buying your shirt because it said winners win or whatever, but you guys have comfortable shirts.
Yes.
And so while, yes, if you were expecting an overweight heavy shirt, you're going to look at ours and say, wow, that's a thin shirt. But no, yes, they are thin and they are soft, but they are high quality. And that's where, Brian really did a great job of reaching around to different manufacturers and testing them out. We must have ordered 6 or 8 different winners win shirts from different manufacturers
Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
ever even made the first one, so that we could make sure that they didn't come across as, thin and cheap. They came across as thin, lightweight, and comfortable. And that's what we were going for.
For sure. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head because I bought my wife for Christmas, I think it was, no, or Mother's Day, I think it was, the Jordan Carolina
Oh
blue
yeah.
shirt, and she wears that regularly. So it
Yeah.
definitely hit the comfort mark, and she's a huge Carolina fan and loves it.
I love that Brian found that one. I call him BK for his last name, but I love that BK made that one, and he didn't use the classic Jordan
Hmm.
shot, right? It's the same shot for people that don't know. It is the same shot from the national championship. It's the winning shot, but it's from a different angle that he found. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that shot, that picture existed.
Yeah.
And he found that. So I think that's really classic. Of all the people that have used that MJ shot for pictures, for marketing, for products, for promotions. I've never seen anybody use this alternative shot. So I really credit Brian for his marketing capabilities
I know more
for
about
figuring that out.
I know more about Mike than Mike knows about himself. So that's probably
That definitely may be true at this point from what
yeah,
I've seen. And I grew up a Bulls fan and lived in Chicago myself a little while. So,
yeah.
All
but
right.
yeah, very impressed with what he was able to do with that shirt.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So kind of with the going back to the the brand, the company, and then the social media, which is what most people are seeing out there. And again, they're always posts are generally positive, have a positive spin on them, even sometimes if it's a tougher or more contentious conversation that's going on. And how how Twitter can be. Uh,
Yeah, I do.
but
Recently
what
had that.
but what was that thing, that moment that drove you to be that positive outlook and want to spread the positivity? What can you pinpoint a moment or something that happened that was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more of something that George had, we talked about this and he was on board with my idea of why I wanted to do it because it hit home personally for me. Um, you know, it's a hard question in terms of when I started to when I made a couple of the videos to put my face out there, which
Mhm.
I didn't want to do. And I don't even, this isn't my thing either. I know
Mhm.
it's the right thing to do. I know it's the best thing to do for the company. Um, but I never want to make things about me. And that's just not, I'm not an attention person. I'm not, hey, look at Brian. I don't even like to really talk about myself. And so, um, to get to that, to answer your question, to get to that, to be quite honest with you, I wasn't a good person a long time ago.
Mhm.
By fault of things happening to me or the choices I made. And as I met my wife and grew up and got mature, I realized that those things, um, they haunt you.
Mhm.
And and so the message with that is and why we are pushing that, because I had to self-assess myself. I had to change who I was. I had to put in the work to to be kind, to be nice, to you know revamp my whole way of thinking of how to treat people.
Mhm.
um, and that's the number one thing of why I push what I push on social media and where we're trying to go with shirts is, um, we've all had loss. We've all experienced loss in our life. And, it's the cliche of, I really do believe people, including myself, I'm not any different. We take life for granted.
Mhm.
Um, and so and like you said, there's a lot of negativity on social media. um, there's a lot of I want to be right, I want to be this, and we don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to, and that's why I don't engage in it. I've had people say that somebody should be fired for making this shirt, and so and all I do is say thanks for your input. I appreciate it. Have a good day, because I've been through a lot of worse things than people saying something on social media, man. It's not that those things aren't going to get me down. And
Yeah.
so, um, could I share these stories to help better promote our business? Sure. But I'm not going to. That's something that I'm going to share. Maybe I'll share later on down the road. I don't know. But those are things I'll share with my kids and my family and people close to me that I can help and uplift. And hopefully I can find a way to explain that through shirts. I think I've done a little bit better job of, I think the last couple drops we have coming, or posted that we have coming up, I'm telling a little bit more of a story
Mhm.
to when releasing a shirt. That's something I'm learning too. I think that's important too. And just said, here's my shirt. You're supposed to understand it. Um, I explaining it. I think I've now learned it is important to do that as well. So I want to thank George for letting me push this part of our company of who we are, because it's very important for me um, to do it this way, about people. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that just briefly if you have just a second on it. I definitely agree with Brian's, where this kind of came from. I think him and I, while we didn't grow up knowing each other by any means, we met through the sneaker community, which is part of the joy of this whole thing. Is that, we became friends through this, and we're continuing to build and grow that friendship through this business venture. But him and I have some similar paths, and that we both have some things that we wish had gone differently in our lives. And in the right context, we can dive into those more when needed. But
Yeah.
this is a chance for us to show what we believe in, of how things can be done right in life, how people can win no matter where they're from and no matter what they're doing.
Yes.
And so I think, it's not, well, it's one event that was the catalyst for how we got here, which was through that community. It's really everything we came from is why we built this and why we continue to believe in this, even when we're losing money, sometimes in this venture.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate you sharing that even as much as you did, just to understand, the why behind the way things are posted out there, right? Of course, yeah, share in your time when the time is right, and if it is for public consumption,
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
looking forward to learning more. But not everything is for everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of back to your point about the person saying, "Hey, somebody should be fired for that shirt." Well, you know what? You're not the target audience, right?
Right.
And so don't buy it. Keep scrolling. Let that thumb flick and keep going, right? Like, it doesn't
Right.
matter. Just
Right. Yeah, for
be
sure.
Yeah,
honest.
I feel like there's so many cool and interesting streetwear brands that are really sort of spreading their wings right now. And I'm not saying anything negative about any of them, but what I love that Brian has done, and like I said, this really the catalyst for us starting this was just the winners win slogan,
Mhm.
and that mantra that came from our small sneaker community even. But what I really love is that everything Brian's doing, that he's putting out for us, has this positive vibe, right? And that's really not the case, when you look across the internet, when you look at what social media is right now. Some people claim that they want to do good or whatever, but you really don't see that across the world right now. And that's consistently what Brian is helping Life Method to bring to the table. And that's why I'm, really standing behind it and loving what we're doing.
Nice, nice. So I think one of the first ways that I came across Life Method was when you guys had that big the giveaway with like the cooler and the alcohol and some other stuff in there.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you've done a couple partnership giveaways. I think you've even got one going right now. Um, are those, go back to the cooler one that happened? I think it was like the end of last year. Was that a brand partnership, or you just happened to have a collection of things that went together? Tell us kind of how those came about.
Yeah, that the first one we did, or that big one, it was just a collection of stuff that we had. And then we wanted to include a pair of shoes. At the time, that was that was kind of in, or I think it was what was the Powerpuff SB.
Oh, yeah.
It was very popular. Um,
Yep.
but you know, so we wanted to throw in a whole bunch of stuff to try to gain, you know, recognition, to gain some followers, to, you know, when you do that kind of stuff, to me, because people don't know us or know who we are,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for a reason, so I can get followers, yes, for the business, but also it's these are things that like we took the time to obtain or out of our own pocket or
Right.
whatever. So it's kind of a win-win situation. It's not anything that, hey, it's that, you know, it's a one-sided thing. It's definitely both sides. It worked out. Some of the other ones that was the biggest one. I hope to get back to something like that again. I thought that was really cool. Um, the other ones, I'm trying to really partner with people. That's our, I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to do
Mhm.
um right now. You know, shout out to last month's giveaway was Patrick the Giver. If you guys aren't following him, that's you guys think we're cool. That dude is an amazing human being. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, you want to do a Teachers Teach t-shirt giveaway? Yeah, I'm all in, all on board. And we get, you know, because he's a big you know, he wrote a couple books. Those are on Amazon. All you got to do is just search Patrick. I think Patrick Rhodes, I think is his name. Search it on Amazon. His books will pop up. He does a lot of stuff in the community for kids and teachers. And so I was very happy to partner with him and do a giveaway to give back to the teachers, because I learned through COVID, teaching is a tough job. And there's no way I'm going to do that job. So I wanted to do something for teachers to give back to them, which is why I created the shirt. I wanted to do a giveaway with it. So we partnered with him. Another partnership we've done, this is actually the second one. Major shout out to Unloved Ones, Kenneth, my guy. Man, that dude is,
Mr. and loved ones. Yeah.
yeah, he
Mister
is.
to all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He said I don't have to call. No,
I
man,
don't know him as well as Brian. I got to call him
yeah,
Mr. and loved ones.
I don't have enough time to explain to everybody the conversations we've had. Like this dude is an unbelievable human being. Like he doesn't have to help us. Like other people
And
I've reached out
Kicks and
to.
Cars, great. He's been super
Oh,
supportive as well. We love
absolutely.
the collab with him. Both his and the teacher shirts have been two of our biggest selling shirts ever, just behind the winners win shirts. So
Yeah,
definitely,
and
the collabs with the community have been fantastic for us.
So the collabs, you've got the contests, you know, to gain more followers, to, you know, help the business, right? Have they done what you've wanted them to do?
yes. I mean, the funny thing is with followers is that I don't like that term. I understand that
Yeah.
that's what that is for us. That doesn't, because we follow back.
Sure.
So I like to call them friends, associates, whatever the term you want to use.
Yeah.
Uh, because I want to, again, I don't, I'm not better than the person that buys the shirt. I'm not better than the person I wrote a comment to that maybe isn't following us. So when we do these giveaways, yes, we want them to recognize us
Mhm.
and follow us, to make them aware of our brand. But we also, out of respect for that, following back, because that is another thing that doesn't always happen on social media. You know, everybody wants like 27 followers. Well, I got 1,500, but I'm only following, you know, the 27.
Mhm.
That doesn't matter to us. I like it when it's even. So you know, you're going to follow us, we'll follow back. There's even people I follow that don't follow me back. That's okay. That's okay too.
Sure.
So yes, any exposure, anybody following us, people have followed us, have bought our shirts, you know, because it's kind of one of those things where it's, you know, we're at this getting close to a year. And I've talked to a couple other people, it's hard doing this part of it. I didn't realize that. And you know, has there been mistakes along the way? Sure. But I thought this part out of all this stuff would be easy, and this is the most difficult part, is getting people to you know, follow you, to support you, to take a risk in buying a shirt.
Yeah,
So
I'll follow along from what he said, Charles, and that yeah, like you said, it's definitely not that I thought it would be easy. But you know, him and I both gone through career transitions. Just coincidentally, we both have very separate career tracks, and didn't work together before this, so it's just complete coincidence. But we've both had you know, life changes. He's had a child born. I have a almost 2-year-old, so and that's my first child. So we've both gone through, you know, a lot in terms of our families and whatnot since we've started Life Method, and which it's been great. Like we've loved every bit of that. But when you look at what did we get, or what did we try to get from these giveaways, and I don't know, maybe him and I don't even necessarily 100% agree on this. Look, if we had tons of money and we just wanted to throw money at this, sure, I would definitely say let's do more giveaways. And I'm not saying we won't do more big ones. We're certainly continue to do some small ones because we just like giving away to our community and to our followers, our friends, or whatever we want to call them. I will say I don't think that like if you just look at it from a direct value, if other people are looking at, hey, what made Life Method successful? Should I spend $500 on a bunch of stuff to give people? I'd probably say no. We definitely got some followers from that, and it's great. And we've got some great followers that probably wouldn't have found us if we hadn't done that.
right,
But the
right,
actual, you know, cost risk reward
the
probably
return.
doesn't line up. Yeah, the actual return on investment for doing that sort of thing for a very small business that's just getting started. I'm not sure exactly what I would throw the capital towards, but it's definitely a challenge in that we didn't see like immediate returns, like, hey, we did this giveaway and we sold 100 shirts next week or anything.
Yeah.
So if that's, you know, I don't, if your audience is interested in, hey, what worked for Life Method, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. We would certainly still do giveaways. And if we had plenty of money, if me and Brian were just, you know, bleeding money over here,
Yeah. Yeah.
then we would, then certainly, because I'd love to give back to our community more. And I like that
Yeah.
he's continued to do, you know, small giveaways, partnership giveaways with other people we can partner with. But just in the, you know, hey, I mean, we threw together, like you said, those SB Dunks. That was a $300 something pair of shoes at the time that we did that. The Yeti cooler, all, you know, all these things. It was well over $500 worth of stuff we put together for that giveaway. Love to do it. Love the guy we gave it to. Happy to see that, you know, he was following us on every social media avenue. He was
Definitely
the guy that
deserved it.
yeah, he was, you know, putting his name in every day because we allow daily submissions. So, you know, the guy definitely deserved it. And we got some great feedback and responses from it. But I would be on the fence about would I regularly do that level of giveaway if you're a very new small company.
Yes.
Gotcha. You know, you mentioned the cost of acquisition, cost of acquiring a customer, right? It was a little bit of a surprise to you, and the time and everything that it takes. You know, would you say that that is been the hardest challenge, or is there something else that really in this roughly first year of being in business that just was like, whoa, did not see that coming?
I'll let George answer that first.
Sure.
Because mine's a little different.
Yeah, it definitely is very challenging to build a brand. So, I mean, I am a millennial, but I'm kind of that analog guy in the digital age here. To build a brand that's really digital first here and that's built on social media, was, I think, challenging for the two of us just personally. I don't know if that's necessarily true for everybody or not. I think, we also ran into just a challenge in terms of the economic time of where we did this. If we would have done this in 2021, when everybody under the sun is buying sneakers and has infinite money from all the stimulus money that went out and that sort of thing, I think we would have been in a little bit of a different position there. But I think him and I kind of came into this with, hey, we love winners win. Everybody from our sneaker community, which is not a lot, it's 30 or 40 people, so it's intentionally a small group, but feel free to reach out if you want to join it sometime. Happy to, it's free. But that said, we call it Sneaker Talk. I think we just kind of felt like, hey, everybody loves winners win in our group, and I think 30 or 40% of them bought a shirt when we started, because they liked it. I mean, they didn't need to buy anything to support us. We're not doing this to make money off of them. And so I think we kind of looked at that and we're probably a little naive in thinking, oh, this is so popular with all the people that we know in the sneaker community and stuff, that this should scale really easily, right? And the truth was it didn't, right? And like I said, there were some, macroeconomic reasons why purchases in lifestyle brands were down over the last 24 months in general, but it was definitely a lot harder than we thought it was. But I think it was a positive for us in a way, because we could have sold a bunch more shirts to begin with, and that would have been great. But the challenge actually made us examine why we're selling these shirts a lot more. And that helped us to really dig in to the purpose that Brian's really helped lead us in terms of this positive momentum behind why do winners win, and what can we do to help both our community and the world around us. And so I think, it was actually, the customer acquisition has been much more expensive than I thought it would be, but the end value in going through the hustle and the hurdles to get there has been much more rewarding than I thought it would be. And I think in the end, both personally, it's going to be very valuable, but it's you're seeing it come through, these new shirt ideas that you're seeing us post on Life Methods, social media feeds are really starting to exhibit why and how we view the world and how we're able to, help bring that positivity that we're hoping to just bring to this community.
Gotcha. Brian, what about you? Same thing or a little bit different?
Yeah, overall the same thing. That's the mindset of it, right? Like what you like, you think other people like or would like, and you just don't know. I think that the biggest thing was getting people to, it goes back to the video that I did, a show on my face. I didn't really realize that, the way, the internet is today, you don't know whether things are scams, if they're real. So I can just be posting anything. The pictures, because the reality of it was just a picture, it's an account, it's this, and well, why would I buy from that? What is this? Am I actually going to get my item? And so you have to see that, and that to me was was it, or it still is, a big challenge to get people to buy into that, and to see that this is real. This shirt is cool, but I'm, to get out of that skepticism of I don't knows. And I think that's the biggest thing I guess I didn't realize going into this, was like, oh, this is cool, because in our minds we're real, so why shouldn't anybody else think that?
Right.
But everybody will always tell me, man, these shirt ideas are cool, they got to be hard. No, they're not hard. Honestly, they're easy, because I have an idea and we have an artist and they're drawing it the way I could see it, and then we put it out there. It's, hey, do you want to follow us is the most challenging part, which I thought would not be hard.
Careful there. It's not hard because you're working with an artist that makes your shirt together, but the whole process is not trivial. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into it. I see you doing it.
Well, yeah, but then that's where people will say, "Oh, you got to grind, you got to work." That's just a natural thing to me.
Yeah.
See, that's why I say it's easy. The stuff that I've been through or put together through my life, like the time and effort into this stuff is just a normal thing for me. It's
Sure.
not, because people will say, you got to put in the work, you got to do this. Thank you very much. I know what I know what I got to do.
You can't just snap your fingers and it's all there.
Yeah, and a lot of people just think that they just, this stuff it just happens. It's just, to me, it's just like when you go to work. Everybody, for the most part, everybody goes to work. You have a job to do. This is our job. There is a lot of time. There is a lot of hours. There is a lot of, I'm not happy to say this, but there's times where I'm in church and I get a shirt idea and I got to write it on our sheet. It's just, it comes to me, and if I don't write it down, I'll lose it. And so that happens a lot. It happens a lot where I get an idea and I got to write it down. And so, yeah, the work that goes behind just making a shirt, it is a lot, but it's nothing to me. It's just a normal day to day.
Better than me. That the shirt game is not something I don't think I could do.
Yeah, that's hard, but
yeah, but you kind of touched on something a little bit that I want to, maybe get your thoughts on. There's people out there looking, maybe even back in, the early part of this year before, you really were putting out a lot of shirts, doing the brand partnerships, putting your face out there, things like that. And people were like, who is this? Who is Life Method? What's going on here, right?
Yeah.
And you'll often, if somebody posts something, you'll just quote it with #hired, or you'll quote it and say support the people. And it's like, obviously you support the people because you're quoting it, you're liking it, you're commenting. What would you say to the people who are like, who are thinking this account is kind of corny, kind of a cornball because it's overly positive, or we get what you're doing, you don't have to tell us what you're doing,
right? And so that's I think that'll come in time, right? Because we're still relatively new. They'll get to understand why we're doing it and what we're doing it. Many people have reached out about the hired thing, just DMs of what does that mean, or they'll comment under that like, do I have a job I can come work for? It's just us liking the hired thing. Is just, I got it from Obvious Shirts. He does that every now and then. It just kind of means that we like what you posted. We like that what you said. And so when I do that and I say that you're kind of along the lines of how we're thinking and what we're doing. And I very much appreciate what you just posted, and so I'll repost it and put hired, because it's something that not that the other stuff people post doesn't matter, but those are the ones that hit home. When I say
I have to keep the attorney on speed dial because he keeps telling people that he's hiring them, and then they're like, "Oh, you're not hiring me?"
Like, they do.
No, dude, we really like you, but sorry, we're not hiring everybody that BK posts on.
You'd be rivaling Walmart at this point if you hired everybody. You put
yes,
for sure.
BK likes a lot of people. They have a lot of good things to say online. So.
Absolutely.
Right.
Let's have a little fun here. You guys have mentioned, you got together from the sneaker community in a little group, like a help group and everything like that. So tell me, what is that one shoe that like just really in your collection that just means more than others?
George has a cooler collection than he probably should go. Well, I don't know. Maybe he should go last.
But Brian,
I'll go.
You go first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go. So my story is a little bit different. I obviously, the way I grew up, I didn't have those kinds of shoes. Me and my brother, Aaron, we would work, since we were like 15, 16, we'd save our money, go to, Foot Locker on Saturday morning. wait in line, and get our shoe. And then we would hold on to that thing for so long until it became basically our beater, our basketball shoe or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't do a good job of taking care of them. Some of our friends still have all theirs from those days.
Sure.
And then I ran into, life, things happening and taking place, and didn't have any. And so my very first pair, I got married, and it was a year later, first year anniversary, and my wife got me the Bred 13s. And I've only wore them like 7 times just because I don't know, that was the first pair that said basically like Mike, right? Like I'm back,
Yeah.
but I didn't get any pairs until a few years later, after that. And then I started collecting. So I only really have like 50, 60 pairs. So comparable to everybody else, not a lot. I've gained all that in the last several years.
Yeah.
So with our sneaker group, help with them, but I'm more of a GR person. I just, I go with what Mike wore. And so those are the ones that hit home for me.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Bird for helping you, right?
Yeah.
Mine is actually, I guess I'll give 2 real quick ones, but I'm just sitting here in my room. Actually, these are probably mine. These are my go-to breads. And they're not even like the real official breads. They have like this strange, I don't even know what you call it because I'm not a guy that makes sneakers, material here on the black part. That
Oh yeah.
makes them where it's like easier when it rains or whatever. So I've been able to like wear these like anywhere around the world whenever I travel a lot for work and stuff. So those like were just my go-to shoes. And so even when I was kind of between a rock and a hard place for work and stuff, and basically sold off like all but maybe 5 or 6 pairs of my Jordans, this was like the pair I kept because my just the Bred one is the classic. Like that's my favorite if I really had to pick, one shoe that I would have. So for whatever reason, like this pair has just been the one that I've really kept around through thick and through thin. But and then beyond that, I'm a huge Clemson Tiger fan, so I actually have somebody make me these customs.
Those are cool.
Shout out to Kai. Yeah, they're SBs, so they're super comfortable, whereas regular Dunks are not. And so you got little
those are
scratch on these, so
that's a nice touch.
definitely love those. Yeah. I'll shoot you the girl that did them. Her name's Kai, I think. I'll shoot you her information. She's on Instagram, but she's wonderful. She happens to be local, and it was complete coincidence. I did not know that when I signed up to have her do that. But
Right,
fantastic. Nice. Yeah, I think we need more of that in the community. The market's too flooded with sneakers in general, but these people that are just artists that can bring something to the world a little bit more. Nike needs to figure out something more they can do with those folks. Maybe it's the ID by you, but they let them do 500 pairs or something. I don't know. So maybe like something like what the Dornbecker project does, but of course, obviously that's for great cause, but maybe something similar like that just for artists. I'd love to see something of that nature.
It's an interesting idea. Yeah, I've seen some people out there that have been doing some customs. If you look at Blends Poetic lately,
those are great.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, he does a good job.
I feel like they're running out of. They're gonna have to find ways to be more innovative because they're starting to get the same feel. But man, if they aren't cool, the first ones they've done, definitely great.
So, what is that one shoe that you've got to get one of these days?
Oh man, I got to think about that. See, I'm not as cool as like, I'm pretty lame as far as like shoes, anything that like Mike wore. I have to, one of the ones that I had when I was younger, it was actually So not the 89, right? No. So when they finally remade them, I think it was 2000. I don't know. I'm bad on time and memory, shoes, but the true blue threes, those
Okay.
are kind of one of my favorite shoes. And I had those. And man, I don't know, in the landfill now, but man, those are probably one of my favorite shoes all time just because of the colorway and see, that's what I mean. It's not anything like super cool or any Jordan 1. I mean, I like Jordan 1s, but yeah, I'm just kind of a GR guy. So if I had to pick one that I don't have that I really
Yeah.
want, I guess it would be that one.
Nice. George,
Yeah,
you?
without getting in, yeah, I mean, without getting into like crazy grails that I'll, never be able to get, or if I can afford them, my wife would, kill me because I'm not spending 100 grand on a pair of shoes. A more practical, honestly, one I've been waiting on, and I'm really thankful. It looks like Nike's going to give it to us next year. It is the UNC one.
Mm,
So
Oh yeah.
ones, fours, and 13s are my favorite models. And ones are what I have the most of. But I've held off on buying the UNC ones, whether it be used off eBay or just a new pair that I pay way too much for. So really happy to see we're getting a
mhm.
pair of those next year. So looking forward to trying to cop for retail there, which
Yeah,
hopefully Sneaker Talk will help me with.
There you
yeah,
go. There you
yeah.
go.
A lot coming in next year, man. It's crazy. It's gonna be,
Oh my God, they're flooding the market. That's
yeah,
that's the
Oh, we lost George.
we did.
All right.
Awesome.
Um, well, yeah, no, the market, as he was saying, from the early looks that we're getting, um, for next year, um, start saving your money now,
Yeah, it's a
because
lot.
it is going to be. It looks to be outrageous. I don't know if they can really sustain all of that next year. I imagine some of them are going to get canceled and some of them are going to get
Yeah,
pushed. But from what we're seeing so far, it's looking insane. But
yeah.
I can't wait because the low bread 11s are coming out,
Oh yeah,
and they were confirmed. That's my
yeah,
birthday, so I've got to get.
yeah,
I want them that day. I don't want to get the sneaker raffle and wait for them. I need to get
yeah,
them that day.
yeah, yeah,
So
for sure, for
yeah.
sure.
Well, last couple questions, and then we'll wrap it up here. But
Sure.
you're coming up on the year. What are some of maybe your hopes for the coming year, and beyond?
Um, yeah, that kind of just like trying to keep pushing, trying to get more exposure, trying to get more people to be on board with what we're trying to do. I think that's the biggest thing. It's not about, you know, clout chasing or trying to steal people's followers or anything that like that. We're genuinely trying to make people aware of our company and of our product, because the more people that are aware of us, the more people that you know are known, are familiar with us. Obviously, that's the more shirts we're going to sell. It's not that we're trying to. Even if we had 20 followers and those 20 followers were always buying our shirts, that's cool. But not every shirt is going to be for everybody,
Right.
and we're not trying to, because of all these ideas we have, it's not a big, um, it's not that we're trying to hit one target audience. The idea is that the long list that I get, that's just, the teachers teach. That's not a shirt for me. It's not a shirt for you. It's not,
Mhm.
but it's for teachers.
Right.
And so that's the big thing to make, I'm trying to make shirts for everybody, trying to make shirts for all. But we we need to get more exposure for people to say, to say, oh man, because I don't know how many times gaining more people that I've gotten the restock question. Oh, I wish I would have known that you had that, and then I wish I would have bought this. Hey, are you going to do that shirt again? And
Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing of why I'm trying to push exposure. It's not that doesn't matter to us whether I'm still going to be the same person, even if I have 100,000 followers, 70, you know what I mean? That number doesn't matter to me. The number matters because we can connect with people. That's why the number matters to us. It's not about, because at the end of the day, somebody can buy one shirt from you and not buy anything, and you could still have a relationship with them.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
again, that's important. The people matter. I mean, we can not have shirts and still be cool. I mean, you don't have to have a t-shirt, any t-shirt, and still be a good, decent human being, and you can get along with each other and without even buying a shirt. And so that's kind of what we're looking forward to. That's kind of what I would like us to grow as a company, to get more exposure for people, just, to be aware of us.
Sure.
Yeah, we definitely want to grow Life Method as a brand. I mean, of course, we'd like to make money, but I'll be honest with you, we haven't made any money off this. The money we've made, we've just poured back into it. Whether that's paying new artists, just to try out new ideas. I mean, you don't realize, I mean, what Brian was trying to be nice about it earlier when we were talking about it, but we pay a lot of artists to do these things, and sometimes what they do doesn't match our vision, and that's okay. So we just move on from those ideas, or we get another artist and work with until we find what we feel expresses what we're trying to portray for that given shirt. But all in all, that's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of finances to do that sort of thing. So we're not sitting around really making anything off of this, or
Sure.
I haven't put a dollar into my pocket from this. In fact, I've put quite a bit of money into this, which is fine. We're super happy to keep doing that. But I think when you think about that long term, what do we want from this? No, we're doing this because we feel like building a community, based off of especially what Brian's portrayed here, with our thoughts and our goals for this is a really solid thing that, the streetwear industry, whatever you want to call it, that we're trying to build a brand around, that there's a lot of value there. We think we can provide something positive that there's a need for there.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for all your gracious time. I really appreciate it. But before we end today, you talk about growing. You want to build a community. Let everybody know where they can find Life Method.
We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and our website, where we have, like the about us.
So lifemethod.shop.
Yeah. Yep.
What's our handle on Twitter and Instagram? Give it to them.
It's Life Method.
Okay.
For all of them. Yeah.
Well, hey, again, I really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing the drops as they come out, and the stories that you're looking to tell with these upcoming drops.